Good morning, everyone. Greetings from California. Another beautiful sunny day here. My name's Matt. I'm an executive coach based here in Silicon Valley. And I wanted to share something that's been on my mind a lot recently. This is specifically for folks who may be in their late 40s, early 50s, who are facing some headwinds in the job market when trying to look for new opportunities. Over the last year or so, I've spoken with a lot of people that fall into this category. And one common trend that I see is that they continually will get looked over for positions for a variety of reasons. And they have trouble finding traction in the job market despite many years of success. So I want to touch on a couple of the reasons why that's happening. And also a key mindset shift that can help you break that paradigm and take ownership of your own career journey there. So a couple things that might be happening that would lead to that scenario where you're applying, you've got great brands, you've got great experiences, but companies just aren't seeing it. You're not getting the response that you had expected, in the job market. So one of the things, I'll just put it out there, ageism. That's real. That's a real thing that people have. We can't change it, but we have to accept that it's there and work to mitigate that. And I'll talk about some strategies to do that in a little bit. The other piece is that you have too much experience. So this is a common thing that I see with experienced candidates who've done a lot of roles, they've had a lot of success. It's almost too much for a recruiting team or a hiring manager to process accurately. So an example might be, maybe you're at a stage in your career where you're willing to take a role that's maybe an IC role or not as large as the roles that you've had previously. On paper, you know that you can do it, you're comfortable with it, but when they look at your background, it's almost like a Goldilocks scenario where, the porridge is too hot or it's too cold. It's hard to get that balance right. And so a lot of recruiting teams and hiring managers will wonder, is this person too senior? Do they have too much experience? How long are they actually going to stay in this role? And so a lot of times that results in applications not even being reviewed in many cases, which is frustrating. The other piece there too is the interview stage. So again, high-performing folks who are later in their careers with lots of experience often suffer from this too, where they go into the interview and they're so focused on detailing every single line item of things that they've done that, again, it overwhelms the team. And they come away with an unclear vision for how you might contribute in the role that you're applying for. So those are some of the key challenges that I see with folks that fall into this group. Now let's talk about what you can do about it proactively. So I'll introduce a strategy that I've seen work pretty well, and that's what I call the shift to the consultant mindset. So what is the consultant mindset? When I think about how to explain the consultant mindset, it's got a couple of core facets to it. If you're in this group, I want you to imagine that instead of a job seeker, you are now a one-person consultant. And by doing that, I want you to think about, if you were a one-person consultant, I'm not saying you actually have to be a consultant unless you want to, think about what problems would you solve? What pain points would a company hire you as a consultant to come in and solve? What are you uniquely good at that the company would say, oh yeah, we got to bring in Mark or Sarah or Rajesh or whoever it is to come and solve this problem? So once you have that in your mind, that's where you can really think about what your unique value proposition is. And so that's a fundamental shift, because instead of detailing every line item of your resume, you're now focused on how can you uniquely help companies today. And so that's one unlock, is to think about what are the unique pain points you can solve rather than what are the experiences that you've had. The other thing too is to treat the interview differently. So job seeker mindset, again, you're focused on showing everything that you can do and hoping to get selected. So the problem with that mindset, the job seeker mindset, that puts you in a passive position where you're not in control of the process. And as a successful, experienced person, you want to have some control over the process. So instead, the consultant's mindset is different. Instead of thinking about it like a play where you have to justify why you should be hired, think instead like a consultant would. Think of it like a discovery process where you're seeking to uncover whether that company has the pain point you can uniquely solve or not. So if you were an actual consultant and you met with a potential client and they didn't have a pain point you could solve, the consultant would walk away. A good consultant would say, hey, this is not worth my time, it's not a good match, and then they move on, right? So that's the approach I advocate taking here. So those two unique points with the consultant mindset, think about what is your unique value proposition you can offer to companies, and also shift the interview process to think about what problems do they have? Do they have the problems I can solve? And then position yourself accordingly. So there's lots more on this topic, but just wanted to share some quick advice for how to shift from a job seeker mindset to a consultant mindset, and hopefully unblock your career process, your job change process, if you are an experienced leader, who's later in their career and still has a lot more to give. So hopefully this is helpful. Let me know in the comments below. Appreciate if you like and subscribe. Thanks everyone. Have a great day.